GMO. Give me options. Grow more oranges. What does GMO mean? Madam Chairman, honorable judges, fellow speakers, and guests. You see it all over product labels at the grocery store. Non-GMO, GMO-free. But have you ever taken the time to acquire the knowledge and facts of that abbreviation? That three-letter abbreviation, GMO, can set off red flags in the minds of many consumers. This abbreviation stands for genetically modified organism. Put together, these words can and do sound scary in the minds of many. In today's rapidly changing world of technologies, industries, and health practices, why are consumers terrified of the change and evolution of their food? I believe this fear is developed by the unknown. The unknown of what really is a GMO, why are GMOs used, and are GMOs necessary? A GMO is an organism whose genetic makeup has been altered, but without the addition of genetic material from an unrelated organism. This means in a food production that a tomato's own genes were modified, or genes from another tomato species was introduced into the tomato's genetic makeup. Since 12,000 BC, humans have been domesticating not only animals, but also plants, using the practice of selective breeding. The process of selective breeding takes place when organisms with desired traits and genes are selected to breed the next generation. The organisms that lacks in these desired traits are not used for breeding. This process allows for the desired traits to be carried on and the undesirable to die out of a population. Throughout the years, there have been various advancements in the alteration of DNA, directly resulting the ability to alter the genes of different organisms. So why are GMOs used? GMOs can be developed for many different reasons. The use of genetically modified crops are plants used in agriculture. These plants have had DNA alteration done, usually with the hopes to introduce new traits to the plant which do not occur naturally in its species. Some of the new traits in food crops include the resistance to certain pests, disease, environmental conditions, or resistance to chemical treatments such as herbicides. These traits enable the plant to grow and thrive in many conditions and can result in higher yields. GMOs may also be used to increase the nutrient value of a particular species. The first plant that was developed for human consumption with increased nutrient value was vitamin A-enriched golden rice in 2000. According to UNICEF, vitamin A deficiency is the leading cause for preventable childhood blindness and increases the risk of death from common childhood illnesses. In 2013, the World Health Organization classified vitamin A deficiency as a public health problem, affecting about 1/3 of children ages 6 months to 59 months, with the highest rates being in sub-Saharan Africa. Golden rice was developed as a humanitarian tool to be grown and consumed in areas with a shortage of dietary vitamin A, like Africa. An Agrion program known as Journey 2050 reveals that by the year 2050, there will be 9 billion people to feed. To feed all 9 billion people, 60% more food is needed than what is grown today. All of this food is going to have to be grown on less land than we have today. I was able to take part in the Journey 2050 program at my school this year. When I found out these facts, the first thing I thought is there is no way the world will be able to produce this much food needed unless everyone is on the same page and new technologies are developed. Ken Bradford, a plant science professor at the University of California, states, quote, "The current crops and practices are not adequate to meet the challenges of the future, and going back to old methods of the past that were unable to feed even half of the current human population is not the answer." Unquote. I believe that one of the technologies that will be able to provide for the amount of food needed will be the use of GMO technologies. If crops could be created to thrive in less nutrient-rich soil, survive droughts, and produce higher yields in the same or less amount of land, why is there a fear to develop these technologies? It is our responsibility as the human race to provide for our future generations. And if the way to do that is by further developing these technologies, then why isn't it being done? How would you feel if your children and your grandchildren did not have enough food to eat because GMOs were simply not allowed to be developed? And what about those children in Africa who suffer from vitamin A deficiency? Just by consuming golden rice, a child may not suffer from blindness or may be able to live a longer life. I believe GMOs are necessary to provide for and support our rapidly changing and growing world. You could look at a GMO food almost like a person. A genetic diversity in the gene pool is needed to keep humans healthy and allow for future generations to thrive. What is the difference in creating diversity in food species to allow for higher nutrients and production to support our growing world? So what is a GMO? I would describe a GMO as an organism that has been modified through safe scientific practices to create a product that may produce higher yields, nutrients, or diversity in a species for the benefit of everyone. GMOs should not be feared. The knowledge and facts are out there, but an interest must be taken in acquiring the knowledge to fully understand the use of GMOs. I encourage everyone to take the time to acquire that knowledge and to not be afraid of the unknown. Instead of being afraid, challenge yourself to learn about the unknown. So the next time that you are in the grocery store and you see that big sign that says GMO free, you can make your own educated decision on that product and whether or not the GMO alternative sitting right next to it is right for you.